Good evening. Welcome to our show. John Clauser, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad, coming to you from my music corner of the world. We got my faithful co-captain, John the Music Nut, today. How we doing, my friend?
I got one bad habit. I like to rock and roll.
There we go.
How about you, John?
Man, rock forever. Boy, yes. Time to get twisted one more time, huh? All right. So, love is for suckers. Oh boy. Let's let's get into the final Twisted Sister studio album, shall we? Released July 3rd, 1987 on the Atlantic record label, recorded in Atlantic Studio. That's all it really says. Producer Beau Hill. They've had a different producer for every album, I think. And you can definitely tell it was this is Beau Hill's production with this one. One single, Hot for that's the song Hot Love. Let's see. How good did this do on the charts? Well, let's see. Down in Peter Kerr's neck of the woods, it's only got up to 82 on the Kent Music Report. Up in Mike Ladano and Metal Rogers territory and Martin Popoff's territory up in Canada, 78. The Finnish charts, number 16. The German charts, number 59. Over in my buddy Paul in Ovi Rendum's neck of the woods in Norway, 11. Did really well in Norway. Go figure that out. Swedish charts, number 43. Swiss charts, number 17. The UK albums, number 57. Billboard 200, 74. Cashbox US Top 100 albums, number 60. US AOR albums, number 40. Has not gone gold or anything further, as far as I know, as far as any other um, country is concerned. Um, we do have one change, personnel change, actually, depending on how you look at it. AJ Pero, by this point, has left the band. He goes on to join his brothers in the band Cities with this album called Annihilation Absolute, which I was happening to noticing this. Recorded and mixed at Systems 2, Brooklyn, New York, July 3rd through September 4th, 1986. When did that tour for Come Out and Play end?
That ended probably early 86.
Yeah,
Actually,
some
yeah, that last date where they supposedly did with Raven,
mm-hmm,
I think was June of 86.
something like that.
Raven and Loudness. I
Yeah.
remember.
It does say here now this came out on Metal Blade. AJ Pero appears courtesy of Atlantic Records. So he's still under contract to Atlantic with Twisted Sister. But I think the story I read here is JJ basically says it's, you either do Twisted Sister or you're out. So in walks Joe Franco, or Seven, as I think they call him, because he was the seventh drummer, I believe. So you get 10 songs, four extras if you count the reissue bonus tracks, which I've only listened to those a couple of times. We'll just focus on the album proper. This is a totally different album, would you say?
Yes.
Take it
Yes, sir.
take it away.
All right. Thank you, John. No AJ. No more fire to these performances. This is very clear from the outset. Twisted Sister go LA glam metal with very mediocre results. And maybe I'm being a little too kind. Here we go. Wake Up the Sleeping Giant. By far the best song on the album. And still
Mm-hmm.
sounds a little reined in thanks to Beau Hill's production. Mid-tempo stomper. The gang vocals work well. This is a song against the PMRC This is done very well. It's a very strong pre-chorus and chorus. This is good. Then we get to the first single, Hot Love. That, there we go, featuring the hit single that was not a hit single called Hot Love. This is not Twisted Sister. This is indistinguishable from a lot of LA glam rock. That guitar line during the song, that is not something Twisted Sister would do. I'm thinking that's Reb Beach's creation there. And the solos, they're Reb Beach's. And you can tell because Reb is a fantastic player. Even at that stage, Winger had not put out that first album. He was their lead guitar player. He's also played in Whitesnake and done a lot of other work. Excellent guitarist. You can tell that's Reb Beach on that lead guitar. As for the song, pre-chorus is decent, chorus is terrible. It is not Twisted. This is not their foundation. This is not good. This was the only video. I don't like Poppy, Motley Crue, and My Twisted Sister. This will continue as the review goes on. Love is for Suckers. I didn't realize this was a cover by a band called Poison Dollies until recently. This is actually a little better because it's heavier, but Holy Gated Drums again, Batman. Verses are heavy, chorus terrible. The spoken word bridge, no. That I'm a pepper little rant during the fade out is so dated. It does not work. It was dated in 87. I had this on cassette in 87. By 89, I no longer owned this cassette. So that's the title track. Not to be outdone is I'm So Hot for You, which starts out with the drum beat for Addicted to Love. And then it becomes a Poison song without the hooks. Not good. Very cliched, very formulaic, right up to the key change at the end. It's just, it is not Twisted. It is not good. Now we're going into the great lyrical stylings of Def Leppard, and I'm talking later Def Leppard. First few albums I can handle. By Hysteria, those lyrics are getting kind of silly. Not good at all. Tonight, trying to get that metal edge back. Lyrics cliched and predictable. It's close to their foundation. Not a good song. This pattern will continue. But the opening song on side 2 of the cassette or vinyl is Me and the Boys. This feels like a Meatloaf song when Meatloaf rocks. It's actually a well-constructed song. It just doesn't sound like Twisted Sister. It has a very good chorus on it. It's okay. It would be my second favorite song on the album. One Bad Habit. When I was 16 years old when I bought this on cassette, I liked this song. Now I listen to it, it's catchy chorus. But now it plays like 1987 version of Kiss, or maybe 1989 version, because of the delivery. We got a lyric that Alice would write, Alice Cooper would write. We got a delivery like Gene Simmons would write. It reminds me of Cadillac Dreams from Hot in the Shade, but that came 2 years later. But I think that song's even worse than this one. This one at least has a good chorus. The horns don't work. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. It just doesn't work. I want this night to last forever. More Poison with no hooks. The oh yeahs and the oh no's, that was a classic Poison thing, and a lot of other bands. That vocal bridge, what the heck is that? I'm not even going to try to sing it. Ugh. You Are All That I Need is the power ballad. Also in 1987, Motley Crue would put out a song as a power ballad on Girls, Girls, Girls called You're All I Need. That one wasn't too hot. It had a darker theme. I wasn't a fan of it, but I'll tell you what, that sounds great compared to this.
Oh,
This is not even good enough for a soundtrack to a cheesy 80s teen movie.
mm,
It's not even that good.
mm.
Those keyboards date it, kill it. Dee's vocals, Dee sounds good on this whole album. I think he sounded better on the albums that were more of their foundation, were heavier. This is just not good. Ooh. Yeah, right. That's the last song. This memorable drum line. Haven't I heard this? Isn't this Who Do You Love?
Yes. Yeah. I
This is Who Do
thank
You
you.
Love? Lyrically, we're getting even sillier now. Now we're getting Quiet Riot silly. Stop your hands. Stop your feet. Listen to the beat. Whatever the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. We got you now. We got funk bass on here. Is this Mark? Mark's certainly capable of doing it. I'm wondering if it is. Background vocals sound like a football team chanting. Holy drum machines. We got drum machines all over here, by the way. Beyond predictable, nothing stands out. This was the last song of their original 5 albums. Not a good way to go out. Ugh. But Reb Beach's playing is very good on here. Before he joined Winger, and Winger's sound, yeah, they were kind of poppy. They could be cheesy lyrically at times, but it was very well crafted melodic hard rock.
Mhm.
As for this album, Love is for Suckers. Yeah, oh God. 3.5. And I'm only giving it a 3.5. I give it a 3, but Me and the Boys is well written. So I'll give it a 3.5.
Okay. Wow. I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is the lowest we have ever had an album be ranked since John and I started doing these shows that he and I have done together. I think this is the very lowest we have ever had a ranking of an album, just to my knowledge. But wow.
Yeah, I'd say on your channel, I think so.
Yes, yeah, just from what you and I have done on the
Exactly.
channel here together, I think,
Exactly.
wow,
Yes.
3.5.
Three and a
Yeah, yeah,
half.
yeah. I don't know if I can.
Again, the performances are fine. The songs are not.
Mhm.
And it's certainly not their foundation. This is
No.
this is the almighty Twisted Sister starting out very strong and then ending creatively with a whimper.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good definition here because I think D kind of wanted this to be a solo album, and then Atlantic stepped in and said, "Nope,
That's another thing.
it's got to be Twisted Sister." So he starts pulling the stuff together, and this is what we get. So yeah, yeah. Wake Up the Sleeping Giant, great album, great art opener. Uh, you gotta again that you gotta stop. Da, 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 sa, that's certainly showing its age a little bit, but again, I think this song is about the only really return to form for Twisted Sister on this album, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's a strong opener. I think it was about one of the only songs that they would play in the reunion shows going forward.
I think it was the only one, yeah.
I think this is the
And that
only
was
one.
after Fans of Men that they play
At
songs
least
from all
something.
5 albums.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Or at least they picked a good one.
yeah, yeah, they definitely picked the best one as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, Wake It so good middle finger to those who are oppressing them and stuff like that. But good opener, but yeah, there's certainly a lot of um Yeah.
Studio
It's
trickery.
studio trickery and all kinds of fun things. That's hot love. Here's my first thought. Was that the Edge on steroids on that opening riff guitar thing? You know,
Yeah, I'm wondering where did I hear that?
I don't know. I don't know why. It's like to me, it was like the Edge came to my mind
Yeah,
with I don't know, but credit Red Beach on that one because I'm sure because I don't get me wrong, Eddie and JJ are very good players, but that's not their style.
correct.
Doing that kind of thing. That's just very not their style. Yeah, commercial sounding, cheesy lyrics. It's accessible, but it's just not Twisted Sister. Um, I read somewhere I was telling John before we got on air, since I had these all on vinyl, it gave me the um, it says who played all the solos. Well, unfortunately, I don't get that with my copy of Love Is for Sucker. So I had to do a little digging for that one. And supposedly Eddie actually plays a solo on this. So whether that's
Hmm.
really true or not, I don't
Sounds
know.
like Reb to me.
It does sound like Reb to me too, but yeah, and the video's cheesy. I mean, it just nothing. It just, I feel like I've seen some 50s and 60s movies with drag races and stuff like that, and it was more exciting than that video. But yeah, and plus their look, they ditched a lot of their makeup and just went for the tough guy look and stuff like that. So it was a totally different, got away from what got them to the party in the first place. Love Is for Suckers. Um, Yeah, the way he sneers on this thing to me reminds me of Alice Cooper. The
It's
is
for
for
suckers.
suckers. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can so hear Alice doing this.
Mhm.
Um, Again, not a bad vocal from D. Like you say before, the performances on this are great. The vocals sound great. The songs, no.
No.
Um, I'm so hot for you. Oh, let me go back to Love Is for Suckers. So, something, I think it was kind of said that D would say his marriage wasn't all that great at this time. So he was probably maybe that's why some of these things come out the way they do. But eh, hey, they're still together today, so they obviously got something. They did do something right. I'm so hot for you. Why can I hear Gina or Paul singing this thing?
Yep.
And then you're right. Holy key changed 1987. Goodness gracious. Uh, yeah. Tonight, you get that thrill of the live music, to live in the moment. Yeah, decent side closer. It's okay. It's nothing to. Again, they're trying to get something back into that foundation, and it's just not working. You flip that album over. Me and the Boys. Song here about camaraderie, which is something the band did not have at this point. Ironic, don't you think?
Exactly.
Let's
Thank you,
see.
Alanis.
Yes. Um, I too, yeah. I'm like, okay riff, but there's just nothing here that just, again, good vocal delivery. Supposedly Eddie plays a solo on this, is what I've read, but again, who knows if that's what's really true. But one bad habit, obvious Alice Cooper influence here. I mean, Alice is all over this song. Um, yeah, I love to rock and roll too, but not to this song. Just
Right.
yeah, although it does sound like more of the twist. This sounds more like Twisted recorded this song, and not so much Red Beach, as JJ is credited with a solo with this one. But I want this night to last forever. Mike Ladano was saying something about that. There's a scream in this thing that got lifted for Cherry Pie.
Yeah. Yep. That the beginning.
Yeah, so
Right
there
at the
you
very
go.
beginning. Yeah, that is a cherry pie scream. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, go figure that out, right? Just
Wow, good
another.
call by Mike. Holy shit.
Yeah. I gotta give props to Mike because I didn't come up with that one. I
Yeah.
haven't I haven't listened to the song Cherry Pie in Very long time. Um, Another song about living in the moment. Just I don't know. Just moving on. You Are All I Need. This is You're Not Alone Part Two. It just doesn't work as well as You're Not Alone. This one, I saw Eddie is credited with some solo work. Again, good D performance here, but it interchange it with just about anything that was coming out in the 80s off the LA Strip, and you get this, and that's basically what you got. Um, yeah, right. Another good, another confidence defiant song, but it's just, they a song here about they're not going anywhere and they're gonna dominate their audience. Well, what would happen in a few months? They break up. Hmm.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't get that one. And I think what was that funky beat that almost kind of reminded me of something. I don't know why I'm thinking Escape from the Island off the Elder. I feel like there's that little bass dump ba dump ba bump to do bump ba bump ba bump. I
Okay.
hear that too. I don't know why, but um so oh God. No, so I have to rate now. I have to rate this. Ugh. D again, I love you, buddy. I do. But I think I'm gonna go with John on this one, 3.5. I just can't bring myself to be higher than it, but I can't bring it down to change of address status yet. But it's okay for what it is, but it's just not what you want from Twisted Sister, and it's certainly not what you would expect coming from Dee Snider.
I would agree with that
I just can't I
wholeheartedly.
just cannot I can't even think of anything else to say about it. I just you know, we're going to talk a little more next week. We're going to kind of dive a little more into, hey, what happened? Well, you heard a little bit of it on this one, but next week we'll go further into that. So, John, they didn't have much of a tour for this one. Very short from what I read.
13 dates, all in the United States.
Uh-huh.
Played from this album: Wake Up the Sleeping Giant, Hot Love, Love is for Suckers, I'm So Hot for You, Tonight, and One Bad Habit. I'm going to give you all 13 dates. There's only 13. Interestingly, though, openers on this tour: Great White, who were rising with Once Bitten.
Uh-huh.
They changed their sound to more of a bluesier sound than the heavy metal sound they had on their first two albums. Once Bitten, they were starting to really get some momentum with Save Your Love and Rock Me and Lady Red Light. Good album.
Mhm.
Also, opening TNT, who were supporting Tell No Tales.
Hmm. Okay.
What I heard off that album, I was never really big into them, but I thought 10,000 Lovers and One, Everybody's a Star, or Everyone's a Star, I think were really good songs. Certainly better than what we just talked about. All right. This won't take long. September
Uh-uh.
1, 1987, the Roy Theater, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And we got the Palace Theater in Albany, New York, Mid Hudson Civic Center in Poughkeepsie, New York, Utica Memorial Auditorium, Utica, New York, Orpheum Theater, Boston, Massachusetts, Tower Theater, Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, Warner Theater, Washington, D.C., the Felt Forum in New York City. The Felt Forum is back then was considered the smaller room that was part of Madison Square Garden.
Hmm. Okay.
Cleveland Music Hall, Cleveland, Ohio, Royal Oak Music Theater, Royal Oak, Michigan, Holiday Star Music Theater in Maryville, Indiana, Riverside Theater in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Orpheum Theater, Minneapolis, Minnesota. That was on October 10. October 12, D announces he's leaving Twisted Sister. If you listened to the tour dates I talked about, and here's the crying shame: they never played the big room in the garden. New Long Island band who made it, and they didn't play the garden.
Yeah.
I remember reading Paul Stanley's autobiography, and he was talking about the lean years of Kiss, and he was a cab driver, and he said, I would always take people to the Garden, Madison Square Garden, to see concerts, and I said, one day I'm going to play that venue, and they played it many times, and D didn't, and D, Mark, JJ, Eddie, and AJ never played it,
Hmm.
and is Twisted Sister.
Wow. Hmm.
That's a shame.
Why?
Local boys made it after a long struggle where they were accepted in England before they were accepted in their own country. And then once they made it, they never played the Garden.
Hmm.
How can they, if they played there on Stay Hungry, they would have did huge business
Oh.
there. Maybe they would have sold out, 20,000 people or whatever their capacity is. They probably would have sold it out because those videos at that time were getting played heavy on MTV. MTV was getting really huge. They were white hot for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably would have sold out the Garden. I'm confident they would have.
Yeah.
They never played there.
Hmm. Wow.
That stinks.
Yes, that does. I completely agree with that. Wow.
And if I'm wrong, please put it in the comments. Please tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think it's sad that they never, I'm under the impression they never played Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, because when they would do all the festival stuff after they got back together, I mean, that was all it was everything was festivals, So yeah, I kind of agree with you. I don't think they did either. But
And I didn't look into their tour dates after 87. So yeah, I don't believe they did.
wow. Hmm. Wow. 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 Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's there you go, folks. Well, again, if you disagree with that, or if you know something we don't, please say something in the comments.
Right.
We always like to know these things, and hey, D Snyder, if you watch this thing, please hit us up or something. But no, wow. Yeah, what a you know, the long struggle to make it. What was this? What how did it start off on side two of You Can't Stop Rock and Roll? We're gonna make it. And then they did. They get that big selling album of Stay Hungry. And then just everything just falls apart. But we're gonna save more of that for next week. So
Kind of a shame though, because
it is.
they they had a long struggle, they made it, and then 3 years later they're done.
Yep.
And they never had that second act creatively.
Yeah.
And it makes you really ask yourself what happened.
Yep. And we will talk more about that next week. And we hope to do more of these kind of what happened in the future at some point. But John, what else have we got cooking in the wheelhouse for you these days? Is anything that you've been on that I have left slip through the crack? No, no, that's
No, I mean, I'm going to be on Grant's channel, Grant's Rock Warehouse. That will have already aired by the time you watch this because that will be on Monday, August 5th, and that's
uh-huh,
going to be live.
right.
We're going to talk about bands where albums where the cracks really showed for those bands.
Yep.
So that should be a fun show. And none of my selections are as heavy as Twisted Sister, not even close. Just to let y'all know.
Hey, that's always a good thing, right?
Right.
Let's
I'll
see. Well,
mix it
I
up.
I had the opportunity to do a live Contrarian show last Wednesday. Of They wound up settling on another album cover show, which was
Okay.
it was album covers that feature people on it, but none of the people on the cover are in the band.
Okay.
So this would probably have worked.
Yes, it would have.
Apps actually. I didn't do a shameless plug for the show for that one, but I had some other choices that I had come up with. But Yeah, that was fun to do that. Those are always fun to interact with the with all the people chiming in and stuff like that. But so
Great White Once Bitten would have been worked on that show. I didn't
I
watch the show, but
I think it was mentioned.
okay.
I'm almost positive it was. I think Once Bitten was mentioned and Hooked was mentioned.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably spent more time looking at those album covers more so than listening to the actual albums. Maybe not. Well, no, Once Bitten I listened to quite a bit, but Hooked I probably definitely was staring at the cover a lot more than I listened to it. But yeah, yeah, there was a lot of good choices. That was a fun show. But anywho, so there you go, y'all. So you know all the lingo, share, like, share, subscribe. We appreciate the y'all checking us out, talking us here to hearing us talking about Twisted Sister. Hope this brings back, hopefully these five albums have brought back some good memories of when these albums came out or your first thoughts about them. I know this one and Come Out and Play gets panned hard, but and with good reason. They're both not very good albums, but they they're the product of the time. And there's nothing much else you can say about that. So next week we will dive more into the deep cracks of what broke the band and broke the band apart, and then we'll be back with some other fun topics after that. So for John the Music Nut, I am John Clauser, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad, coming to you from a music corner of the world. Rock forever, y'all. We'll see you next week. What happened? See ya.